activating God mode is pretty easy. Once you're able to do that, you'll be able to manifest 10 times faster. And it's one of those things that when you don't know how to do it right, you get no results. Once you finally know how to do it right, then you get results. Ladies and gentlemen, I live in Mexico City, and up until 10 years, 9 years ago, when Trump got elected, actually, I was living with my mom, right? And you can watch the previous videos where I talked about and predicting this future. The reason why is because at that time, I finally learned how to activate God mode, right? And when the first time I would learn how to do that was when I was younger. And after that, I'm gonna show you guys how to do it. But first, let me show you guys how I did it. I was in church and I wanted to become a Christian. I wanted to be a preacher. And I remember the first thing that I did was I had an impeccable belief in myself. I knew that I was called by God to be a preacher. And I remember I would visualize myself preaching. And honestly, it happened automatically because I had so much confidence in myself. So I would visualize. I was already preparing my ministry name. I was reading the Bible, fasting. I was preparing myself. And 2 years later, it happened as I imagined. I was a preacher. I was traveling. I was giving sermons. I was seeing people become Christians. Everything that I had in my mind became a reality. And one of the most important things that got me there was the self-fulfilling prophecy. If you guys read the Bible, you'll notice that most of the prophets are acting on prophecies, right? Let me show you. Meaning, God tells them what's going to happen, and they believe it, and then they take action. Even God told Abraham to kill your son, like a twisted ass game. Sacrifice your son for me to prove yourself. And he did it, and God stopped him halfway through, right? But the point is that in order for the first step to activating God mode is to have a prophecy. And you have the ability to prophesize the future. You're able to say what's going to happen, and if you focus long enough, it's going to happen. But the key is to actually believe it. If you believe that you're going to fulfill a certain prophecy, it's going to fill you up with so much energy, so much belief, so much perseverance that inevitably you're going to make that happen. You have to make it feel inevitable. So the law of the law of prophecy, I like to call it, law of prophecy, where you stand yourself and act as your own God, and you tell yourself what's going to happen. And like a prophet in the Bible, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, you act on it. You don't know how you're going to do it, but you feel a certainty inside your stomach. And the reason why I put the Buddha and Jesus is because they amplify, they represent the most beautiful aspects of manifestation, which is light energy. Right? There's light energy, and then there's dark energy. Right? And I will advise that if you guys are going to be doing this, make sure that it's light energy. Because if you're going to manifest your dreams, manifest your goals, and you use dark energy, right, it's actually going to manifest itself faster. I like to think that dark energy accelerates manifestation. But the problem with dark energy is that it surrounds you around people who are trying to take from you. You create a very toxic environment around you. Because what's motivating you is hatred, revenge, desire to put people down. And in fact, if you succeed using dark energy, you're going to create enemies on the way, right? Because people are going to hate you. The type of energy I want you guys to use is light energy, which is compassion, love, empathy, and a desire not to hurt. This creates a different result. It's not as fast, but it's longer lasting, It doesn't self-sabotage you. And above all, it actually lifts other people, which just like the wave being lifts, everything goes up with it. This is the best type of energy that you could have. And the way you cultivate that is through wanting to help people. Find a way how can achieving your goal help others. And if you keep doing that, and also practicing meditation will change any energy that you have into light energy. If you practice meditation long enough, and I'm gonna show you how to do it towards the end of the video, you could transform any dark energy into light energy. Right? So we're gonna talk about that. Let's continue. Right? So now that you guys know that I'm not just talking out of my ass, right? If you notice, I'm a painter, I'm a YouTuber, I did sculpting, I'm an artist, I was a preacher, I did marketing, and in none of my past did I ever scam someone. And that's one of those things that will keep my manifestation powers going, because I'm not gonna pull no Diddy shit, no like things that's gonna come from your past. That doesn't happen, right? That's what happens when you're motivated by light energy. So you can have people who manifest with their God-giving ability with dark energy, but you're gonna end up like Lucifer, right? And so now let's talk about the law of mirror, right? So remember, we first use the law of prophecy, where you prophesize your future, right? Now we're gonna use the law of mirrors. Now, what's the law of mirror? Is that your outer reality manifests your inner reality. Your inner reality manifests your outer reality. Mentally weak people causes them to manifest the outer reality into their inner reality, meaning they react to their outside world. Strong people manifest their inner reality in the outside world. In other words, the world reacts to them. So if you feel abundant on the inside, happy, feeling like you have everything, grateful for your life, it'll manifest outside. And a lot of people who use dark energy don't like this because it's boring. It sounds too woo-woo, right? But it's actually true to it. Let me show you how to do it, right? You gotta act as though you have already received. And one of the ways that you act as though you have already received is through gratitude. I remember when I was a Christian and I was trying to be a preacher and an evangelist, every night I would say, thank you, Lord. Thank you for my ministry. Thank you for the hundreds of people I was able to save in your name. Every day I did that. Because the Bible says to show gratitude. And this literally manifests that. You're almost like sending an emotional rope out into the universe and bringing what you want out from the future, right? Through gratitude of what you have, and above all, gratitude of others. So you amplify this energy to not only being thankful for what you have, but also being thankful for what other people have. This creates a frequency. This raises your vibration to the point that it creates, whenever you think of something, that the signal gets sent out with more strength. It's like a Kamehameha signal, like a fucking spirit bomb, people, right? So gratitude towards what you have, gratitude towards what others have, and then gratitude towards what you're gonna have in the future. And this is where visualizing happens. You're not just visualizing yourself achieve your goals and just wanting it. You're visualizing yourself achieving it and being thankful. Seeing yourself and looking at yourself and saying, I love you. I love that you're doing that. Thank you, my future self. Huh? Oh, may you be happy, my future self. May you be at peace, my future self. And may you continue to find happiness. I appreciate that. And this is a very specific meditation, metta. Now, look, I know a lot of people don't teach manifestation the way I teach it. But again, I'm living proof of it. Like I'm really living proof of it. You know, like I wanted to become an artist in 2 or 3 years, and I did it. Like I'm living proof. And I wanted to have multiple successful YouTube channels, and I've had like 5 of them. I'm living proof of it. I wanted to get out of being poor in the Dominican Republic, you know, stop being poor even when I was in my mid-20s, and I'm living proof of it. I use this. I'm not bullshitting you. you know? Now, let's talk about the next one. So we got the law of prophecy, law of mirrors, where if you feel like you have everything on the inside, we're not talking about grandiosity. I'm saying you feel abundant, not because you have something, but because you're grateful for what you have, for what other people have, and for what the future self have. The reason why is because I don't want any of this. I don't want you guys to be infected by dark energy. You're gonna, because it literally takes away what you have manifested after a few years of manifestation. So the next law is the law of expectations. And we talked about this yesterday, but I wanted to include it here, right? Law of expectation, right? This is a guy about to expect his gift, right? He's about to expect. I think these are his hands. He's expecting from the universe, right? Yes, universe. The law of expectation is literally, remember when you were expecting your check, right? When you're expecting your check on Friday, how does that feel? Just remember, how does that feel, right? You'll notice when you're expecting something, you visualize what you're going to do with it. You're already spending it in your mind, right? You feel how it is to have it. You feel grateful. And above all, this is very important, you have high energy. And the reason why high energy is because the body's releasing dopamine. This will allow you to take action much quicker. Remember, dopamine isn't just about feeling good. It's literally about the moving the body. That's why when people have Alzheimer's, anything that affects your dopaminergic system, a lot of people like tremble a lot. You know, it's because the dopamine affects your body's movement. So when you feel that high energy because you're expecting something, you literally feel like taking action. Like if you're lazy, if you procrastinate from doing your thing, what you got to do to achieve your goals, it's because you don't feel like it's possible. Do you wonder why I make so many videos so quickly on this channel? Think about that. I'm visualizing this channel blowing up. And every time I visualize it, a new idea comes up. And whenever that new idea comes up, oh my God, I feel like I wanna work on this as soon as possible. I wake up, I'm like, I wanna make a video about Goku's work ethic. That's the next one, about Goku's work ethic. And then, oh my God, what about the Buddha's work ethic, right? So it kind of like expecting results creates a sense of happy anticipation that gives you energy to take action. Expectation is what happens before you receive your blessing. It's always like that because you see it happening. You know when it's your birthday, so you're kind of excited about it. That excitement doesn't produce procrastination. If you are procrastinating, it's because you are not, right, expecting. That's the truth. You got to learn to expect through taking action. Your action says you're expecting. I swear to God, like I know it sounds counterintuitive, but expectation for me is a verb. So when you take action expecting results with visualizing, it happens. Now, the next law, and I feel like this is a very important one that a lot of people who talk about manifestation just don't talk about. And that's the law of 80-20. 80-20, right? Too many people focus on the things that don't work. The way that the law of the universe works is that 80% of the things, 20% of the things gets 80% of the results, right? Actually, let's be more specific about this, right? Because I don't want to mess this up. So it's pretty much that 80% of the outcome comes from 20% of the causes. This means that a small percentage of causes have a disproportionate amount of effect. For example, in work, you can use the 80-20 to prioritize tasks and increase productivity. For example, you can focus on 20% of your work that produces 80% of your results. When it comes to studying, you can focus 20% of the topics that will give you the best results with the least amount of effort. Another example, you could focus on in sales. 20% of the sales representative choose to close 80% of the sales. In other words, 20% of the people produces 80% of the income. Even with your apartment, 20% of your floor is where 80% of where you walk, right? 20% of the guys get 80% of the women. Even time management, like you know that you could recognize and mitigate distraction, which can lead to 80% of unproductive time, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is that 20% of your actions is what's producing 80% of your results. So you got to figure what that is. You got to figure out what that is. The universe gives you signals, but we're not paying attention. You know, we're expecting it to do everything. The 80-20 principle, the law of 80-20, is one of those things that literally accelerates and increases whatever you're doing. With basketball, I became an extremely good shooter. You want to know how, right? Let me see if I can find my basketball, but let me keep talking to you guys, right? I realized that there was one drill that the best basketball players used to become great shooters, right? And that, oh shit, people, my hair is like got stuck in this thing. And that drill is the one-hand shot, right? I'm getting the basketball to show you guys. So I began doing this drill, and I stopped doing my other drills, right? I literally just did this for like a whole month. And let me tell you something. All of a sudden, my shot became automatic. And the drill is this. You stand underneath the basketball and just shoot with one hand and master the release, right? You master, by the way, this is a heavy ball. I know. You master this, right? And then after that, you go with two hands and you go like that, two hands, right? And then after that, you go like this, right? You go like the motion. And then after that, you go like, you shoot without stopping the ball, right? And then after that, you go with the one dribble pull-up, right? You see it? And you'll notice my feet are quick, right? And that became my 80-20. And as soon as I started doing that, without lying to you guys, my shot became automatic. I would do the other drills for 10 minutes and just do this drill for 30 minutes and then all the other dribbling. And my shot, everything else became better. And I manifested that. I wanted to be a better shooter. And I used the 80-20 principle. So find out what are the 20% of the things in your life that produces 80% of the results. What is the time of day that you're most productive? You focus on working on that, right? Who is find out the 20% of your friends that encourage you to work harder and stick to those friends. The next one is the law of detachment. All right, and now this one is a very interesting one, right? Anytime the way that you create negative reaction and attachments is that one, you have consciousness, which is the ability to perceive sensation. You start to perceive a sensation, positive or negative, right? You sense it, you feel it in your body, and then you react. What happens is that when you react, you literally stop sensing the sensation. But the way you stop reacting is that you increase the sensation. You train your brain to feel more sensations than you already feel. For example, you feel this right here, right? You feel it, but you don't. If you actually concentrate on that feeling, you will, oh my God, what is wrong with me today, bro? Okay, I'm good, right? If you actually concentrate on that feeling, you'll notice that the sensation increases, right? So what you want to do is increase the sensation of your body so that whenever you fail or succeed, you don't allow yourself to get attached. The less attached you are to the outcome, the faster the manifestation. So what you practice is just to feel sensation. You practice sensing a very small area of your nose. You don't sense the whole nose. You sense a very small area. The smaller the area, the more sharper your brain becomes. The smaller the area, the more intense the concentration. The more intense the concentration, the deeper the meditative state. The deeper the meditative state, the less you are attached to the outcome. The less you are attached to the outcome, the more you're able to remain neutral, the more you're able to expect,
the more light energy you use, and above all, you start to be more grateful. You're able to visualize yourself in the future and feel grateful for that future self. Why? Because this type of meditation increases your capacity for empathy. Increasing your capacity for empathy allows you to look at your future self, feel empathy for that future self, which is a form of visualization, and it actually brings that future, that reality to the present moment in 10 times the rate of speed. But the key is to increase your concentration powers, right? You increase your concentration powers by focusing on a very small area of the nose. You start to feel the subtle sensations of the nose that have always been there, but that you haven't paid attention to because you're always reacting. The more subtle sensations you feel in the nose, the less you are reacting. The more you're reacting, the less you feel the sensations of the body. You see what I'm trying to get to you? So whenever you visualize, you first meditate, practice nose anapana meditation. And then once you visualizing yourself achieving the goal, keep awareness in the body. Keep awareness in the nose as you're visualizing yourself achieving that goal. This will literally kaioken that goal. This is the key that Vipassana meditators know, that the Buddha understood, and that people who just do manifestation don't understand. When you're visualizing, you stay detached by visualizing as you are aware of a physical sensation. So when I'm visualizing, I'm feeling my whole body or the nose. And that's how you do it. I swear to God, this will accelerate your manifestation. Let me know how this works, man. I know this is going to work. This is inevitable. You're bound to be successful. Just do these things and success is inevitable. All right? Take care.
All right, guys, we're going to have a brief intermission so that I can tell you guys about our new bundle that we're doing, where you guys can purchase all of my courses and get it at a discount. So this bundle is pretty much the bundle where you could just buy all of my courses. You could buy Nice Guy, which is a training course on how to come across more assertive, how to come across more confident, how to not give off nice guy vibes. You guys can get access to Dark Game, which is my full dating course on how to meet women in different scenarios, how to attract women, how to make sure you don't come across as creepy, and essentially how to act like a man and not act like a doofus, to be quite honest with you. And you get all of these bonuses, which is the bonuses of Dark Game, the bonuses of Practical Mastery, which is about how to master a skill, Social Mastery, which is how to master your social life, and the Laws of Human Nature, which is a book club video that I had dissecting Robert Greene's book. All of this is naturally at around naturally is at $346, but you guys can purchase this bundle and get it at what's the price again? Get it at $238 pretty much. So you guys can purchase it right now. It's a money back 30-day money back guarantee. It's a good way to, rather than just buying them individually and paying extra, you guys can just purchase everything at a discount price. Now, the only thing I don't like is the fact that I'm giving you a lot of information at the same time. That makes me kind of scared because a lot of times people don't do the things that I teach when you get too much information. But I've gotten too many requests to do this, so I'm just satisfying you guys. Purchase it right now by clicking on the description down below where it says purchase the bundle. All right, let's continue with the video.